I'm ready.
I'm ready. I was just telling her that I like to rake leaves because it's therapeutic.
And that's fine.
I put music on.
Yeah.
And then I'll do a shape.
Oh, wow, like Zen gardening. Yeah, okay. And that's perfectly fine. So let's talk about leaves on the lawn, right? So that could be one instance where you do want to rake them up because it could, inhibit sunlight from hitting through. The moisture could cause possibly fungal diseases. So if they're in the lawn, go ahead and rake them up. But if they're in your garden beds and throughout, people used to want to rake them all up and get rid of them, and there's a lot of myths out there. And now all of a sudden you see the opposite. It's like, leave the leaves alone. And it's like, so it could be a little misleading about certain things. So I'm gonna pinpoint some very common misconceptions, or maybe not misconceptions. So let's do pine needles, right? People used to think, oh, the tannins are going to make your soil too acidic if you leave pine needles. Not true. They become just neutral, basically. They're not going to affect the pH of your soil at all. Okay. You could leave them completely fine. The problem with pine needles is they don't break down as fast as other leaves, so they can build up. So if you do have seedlings you want to sprout underneath, forget about it. It could inhibit water from penetrating down into the soil down below. So it's not a bad idea every few years. I've seen them build up like that much under certain trees. It's not a bad idea to maybe thin them out every once in a while, but it's not going to make your soils acidic. Same with oak leaves. They will not, the tannins will not change the chemistry of your soil. That goes across the board for all oak leaves. So go ahead and leave the oak leaves down on the ground. It's fine. We know that these leaves are going to provide homes for overwintering beneficial insects. They could be forage for other animals. They could be nesting material, building home material for other animals. So it's fine. If you have like diseases though, like peach leaf curl, we always say pick up the leaf. So it's probably a good idea if you think you have a disease like under roses, if you've had late fungal leaf spot and spores. It's possible that a lot of times they overwinter on the bark and the wood, but when in doubt, you could pick those leaves up and get rid of them there. One thing I would be worried about is black walnuts. They do have a chemical, a laleopathic chemical called juglans. Other regular standard English walnuts have it too, but black walnuts have it the worst, which inhibits growth around. The majority of it is in the walnut holes and the roots, but the leaves do contain a bit of it. As they degrade and break down, there's less and less. But if you are worried about it, tomatoes and things in the tomato family are more susceptible to it. So these you may want to rake up if you have a black walnut and avoid putting them in your compost bin. But other than that, you could leave the leaves exactly where they're at. Or you could put them in a compost bin, or you could rake them and make designs on your lawn. But it's not, I mean, this is what happens in nature. Things break down. This is where we get compost. So those are some of the myths, but it's actually probably a good idea to leave them.
Thank you, thank you. There you go. Marlene the Plant Lady. You can follow her Facebook, Instagram, Flower Power Gardener, and Everything Gardening on YouTube.
Good job.
We'll be right back.